Hello and welcome into the PHLY Phillies Pregame Show. Jamie Lynch, Renee Washington, Tyler Zulli on you. Kudos to Renee and Tyler earlier today for carrying the brunt of the load on the Breaking Emergency podcast. I listened to Dave Dombrowski this afternoon, and I do feel like, we're going to get into this game tonight, Renee. But it's kind of an exciting day, and more still to come, definitely, before Tuesday's trade deadline show that we'll be doing from Billy Murphy Saloon in East Falls. But an exciting day.
I know. And honestly, it feels like today's a trade deadline, the final day for the trade deadline, because there's been so many trades happening around the league. Yeah. I'm glad the Phillies were involved in something with Austin Hayes coming to the Phillies in that trade with the Baltimore Orioles. As we talked through a lot of things this means moving forward for the team, specifically around the bullpen. But I'm just happy they did something, because with all these trades being made, I think if we saw a quiet Dave Dombrowski in the Phillies today, I'd be super concerned. But it's been active. It's been fun to see. Yeah. It's Friday. We had the Olympics opening ceremony.
We got our Miller Lights happening.
We got our friends Linda, Kim, Spiral, and everybody that's in the chat on Twitter and YouTube.
We made it, gang. It's Friday.
It's Friday.
And I got this delicious... If I get distracted during this pregame show, Renee, it's Billy Murphy Saloon's fault, because... they brought in some food that absolutely smells delicious.
I know.
And I'm going to wait and be a good boy until our watch-along coming up after the pregame show to dive into that burger. So if you want to see me sloppily eat a burger and whatever these delicious-looking ribs are over here.
No,
yeah.
I gotta sit here and
along.
in my headphones listen to you eat.
No,
again.
we're gonna get muted this time.
I will chomp
or we will
away.
not chomp as closely to the microphone.
I will drink Miller Lights. I will cheer on the Phillies as we start the new phase of the Phillies, and still yet the final version. But Austin Hayes, I almost said Kevin Hayes. This isn't a Flyer show.
Oh, wow.
Has reported to the Phillies and will join the club.
He's active tonight.
Yeah. So when I first kind of started thinking about this, I thought immediately that he would just throw him right in the mix and they would give Marsh a chance to get healthy. But Marsh, I believe, is in the lineup tonight.
We're still acting like Marsh is healthy.
Yeah,
That's part of
I mean, the guy could use a couple days. He winced after a swing the other night. So I thought they'd use that opportunity, but maybe not. I would imagine we see him tonight, though. And we'll get into the starting lineups in a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like we will see him today. And I know he's not in the starting lineup, which totally makes sense to me. I actually was probably the one that was opposite of that. Like, I don't want to be jumped in the starting lineup, but to be active tonight means there's a chance we could see him late in the game.
Yeah.
And that's a great way to ease in. It's already so fast. But fortunately, coming straight from Baltimore, you're our neighbors.
The quick 95 trade.
Yeah, hop on up 95. Listen, we've seen people travel much further to get called up from, minor league or whatever else that has happened. So to make a trip from up 95 from Baltimore, easy peasy lemon squeezy. And now you get a chance to see him active today. And I'm excited because I feel like, I don't know about you, but since the trade happened, I'm feeling a little more optimistic lately.
It's grown on me because I think...
Yeah, it's definitely growing.
Because I think bullpen-wise, avoiding trading prospects to get Hayes, I think
was huge.
I think tells you a splash is coming in the bullpen. And Tyler, I'm sorry, your boy Yumi got traded. He's off to Seattle, and we'll recap a lot of this stuff during the watch along. One bullpen arm has moved. We'll see what they do. If they get Tanner Scott, though, all of a sudden that becomes an A trade deadline. Are they going to get two bullpen arms? Dave Dombrowski talked this afternoon and didn't hide from it. He said, we're going to be active and looking for bullpen arms.
Yep.
So to your point, yes, like the excitement's starting to snowball downhill a little bit. And you're like, okay, well, if Hayes can take over left field and they believe in him, and you go Marsh and Rojas platoon in center, you add two bullpen arms.
Ooh-wee.
All of a sudden, really exciting stuff happening.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I know we left our emergency pod kind of with the now what? Let's see what's next. Let's see what moves are made next, especially since the Phillies didn't have to move any prospects in this deal for Austin Hayes.
Which is a big deal.
We did see Michael Rucker get activated, so he was down doing his IL rehab, and he's been activated to come back. He's been on the IL since March, actually. And at 30 years old, Michael Rucker just replaces Sir Anthony Dominguez's spot in the bullpen. He did appear in 12 rehab games this season between Single A, Clearwater, Double A, Reading, and Lehigh Valley. Has had a 3.21 ERA, given up 5 earned runs 15 innings pitched. He's someone that we were wondering, like, given Sir Anthony's move and leaving a spot in the bullpen, would the Phillies bring somebody else into the mix for now until that trade does happen? And it is indeed Michael Rucker who gets that call. So for that, and then for Austin Hayes to actually be active tonight, it's like we're making immediate moves. We're starting right now. And most importantly, you didn't move any prospects. You didn't move any big pieces. We said addition by subtraction. Got rid of 2 guys in Christian Pache and Sir Anthony Dominguez. So long, farewell.
Yeah,
it's been
Pache
fun.
was nothing.
We appreciate your time here.
Sir
Thanks
Anthony,
for your service.
I always, like everybody else, just you really like the guy. He was homegrown, came up through the system. Feels like he was here
Great
forever.
story.
Had a tough, UCL injury there. Never really bounced back the same. Threw gas, had stuff. You always hoped could like put it all together. Would show you flashes of brilliance, and then just it never really panned out the way you hoped it would. And I wish Sir Anthony well down in there in Baltimore. If we can play the Orioles in the World Series and get Sir Anthony in the 8th and Kimbrel in the 9th and crush their souls and spirits, I might just ascend to a place of zen.
Oh, brother.
I mean, you might get Sir Anthony in the 5th and Kimbrel in the 9th.
Well, Baltimore needs a lot of bullpen help. So
They definitely do. They definitely do.
Sir
You're not-
Anthony's been trending.
You're
in
not
a,
getting away with. I mean, Cano is your 8th inning guy.
Yeah, okay. I'm being sarcastic with the 8th, but a high leverage spot perhaps. Sir Anthony kind of been trending in the right direction. So, I understand why Baltimore took a shot there.
And they're in a position now. The biggest thing that Baltimore Orioles media has been talking about and people that cover them have been talking about is this team has had so many prospects and they've got a lot of young guys, but their fans are getting a little bit antsy. Like, they have a team that's very good now. You look at the move for like a Corbin Burns and how this team is stacked.
I wonder if they go for
Henderson.
Scooble.
And that's why I feel like they would go for Scooble because they have a ton of good prospects that can be moved. They've already been moving them. And they also have a lot of good talent already there, but they're trying to like marry the two. Whereas like the Phillies are in a different situation. They are ready now. They didn't have to make a move. The Orioles have been like holding on by a thread. The bullpen's been depleted. The pitching in general has been depleted. Their outfield, they're trying to build up a little bit. So it makes sense for both teams where they need to just kind of Band-Aid some of these injuries by bringing in Sir Anthony. We get rid of Sir Anthony. Again, great story. Loved having him here. Thank you for your time.
See ya.
But now, peace. And so most importantly, I know in the chat, Barbara Carroll's mentioning like giving up basically nothing for a guy who could help in the outfield. I think both teams were in a position where they could afford to lose this guy. So it's a great move.
Dombrowski said, he was like,
Exciting
we feel as though Hayes got kind of forced out of some playing time due to the young talent they have in Baltimore.
And that's what
Which
a
is
lot
great.
of people are saying.
So it's
like,
a buy low
he's not a
opportunity.
guy that we're okay and kind of happy to see Sir Anthony and Christian go. For Austin, the vibe I get is Oriole fans aren't happy to see him go. They're just happy to see him get a chance to be able to get to be
He
able
won
to play
their
more.
Heart and Hustle Award last year.
He's a clubhouse guy. He's a
grinder. He's a baseball grinder.
We love that.
All right, let's get into tonight's game real quick. Old friend of the program, not program, but the Philadelphia Phillies program, Ben Lively is on the mound facing off against Cristopher Sanchez. Ben Lively on the year, not bad. 8-7, which is not a pitcher stat, but a 3.57 ERA, 80 strikeouts on the year. Cristopher Sanchez is having his bust out season. Hopefully he can get it going here, and then you'd start to feel real good about the starting pitching. Coming out here with Nola, Wheeler, and Ranger taking, I think, a stride in the right direction. If Sanchez comes out of the break again, then you'll feel pretty decent about the starting pitching here. But Ben Lively is a guy you should be able to get to a little bit tonight.
Yeah, this should be the matchup that people want. This is the NL East top team versus the AL Central top team in the Guardians. Of course, they're coming off of a series against the Detroit Tigers. They just lost their last game versus them. And for the Guardians and the Phillies, I feel like this is a great matchup right around the trade deadline. Both teams have some moves they're looking to make. And now you get to be tested for, another test for the Phillies, another good team that you're going up against. And even coming off of that loss to the Detroit Tigers, there's a lot of talent there. Lively, as you mentioned, been pitching well. Should be a good game, honestly, for Cristopher Sanchez to set the tone, hopefully early, coming off of the All-Star break, have high expectations for him to continue as well as he's been pitching, and also help reset the tides. I think the Phillies need to win today. That's huge.
Yeah.
Start the series off on the right foot. and get back to what's been more going well for
All
them.
right, can we go to the NRD here, the Nerd Research Department, behind the glass? And Tyler Zulli, please show yourself on the screen.
Hi.
I have.
Nope. Wait, I'm underneath the
Yeah,
screen.
you're gonna have to go in the middle.
Hold on,
Oz.
wait. We got to figure this out.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go in the middle.
You
Go
know
in
what?
between
I
us,
think you
right
need to
over
lift
here.
your head. I think you need to lift your head above the graphic.
I do, and I don't know how to do it properly. Oh, there we go. We figured it out.
All right, a little quiz.
Now I can wave at people.
A little quiz for you there, Tyler.
Okay.
How did the Phillies obtain Ben Lively in the year 2014?
2014.
It was a New Year's Eve trade.
Ooh.
Man. I mean, no, I think you might have. You might. I'm trying to like process of elimination who it wasn't for. Like Pivetta was in the Washington trade.
Mm-hmm.
Eflin
Was in the
I think came
Padres?
from the Dodgers.
Yeah, Dodgers. You're right. Yep.
Was Lively in the no? Because I was going to say he was in the Cole Hamels trade, but that wouldn't make any sense. That timeline doesn't make sense. Was Lively in the?
Tyler's gonna torture himself for now.
I know.
Was he in the Diekman deal?
Not the Diekman deal. I will give you the position in outfielder.
An outfielder.
I would say with some substantial Phillies name to him.
Was he in the Victorino deal?
Not Victorino. Marlon
The Marlon Bird deal. Yeah.
Marlon Bird in
Word
2014.
to the bird.
The Phillies obtained Ben Lively for Marlon Bird. Never really panned out here, but amazing and good for him. He's still hanging on and doing it and having a pretty good year.
Ben Lively this year, kind of a weird year because he has been good.
Yeah.
And I don't mean weird because he's been good. I mean weird because his splits have been actually inverse of what you expect. He's better against lefties this season than he is against righties. A 102 whip against lefties, a 138 whip against righties. He's really limited the walks this year. He's only 27 walks through about 92 innings pitched. He does get hit hard at times. He's given up 84 hits in those 92 innings pitched. Really, really good start to April. Three games, he had a 2.3 ERA. He was good in May as well. He won 4 out of his 5 appearances, a 3.0, basically a 3.0 flat ERA. July has not been so kind to Ben Lively in his 4 starts. He's 1-2 with a 5.3 ERA, 22 innings pitched over 5 starts, which means he's not getting into the out of the 6th in a bulk of those starts on average. He has given up 5 home runs. The strikeouts are there, 19 over 22 innings, but he's given up 22 hits and 22 innings pitched. The whip is up to 1.27. He's been maybe coming back down to earth a little bit as the Guardians kind of are coming back down to earth.
Well, I think a lot
bit.
of pitchers are coming. It's just like a kind of a weird time of the year for pitchers.
But the one thing
Yeah,
I will give him credit for, he's
it's
been
like that bump in the road, you know?
he's been kind of good with runners in scoring position, runners on first and second, a 0.8 whip, runners on first and third, a 0.6 whip, runner on second, a 0.7 whip. It's small sample sizes, you know, a few innings worth here and there. But he has done a decent job with runners in scoring position this year.
All right, so the lineup he's going to face tonight, leading off Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner in the 2 hole, Bryce Harper in the 3, Bowman the 4, JT in the 5, Brandon Marsh in the 6, your boy Casty down in the 7, Stott 8, Rojas 9. So Hayes not in the lineup tonight. But
Not in the starting lineup tonight.
Yeah, that is true. I would expect him
active
to
tonight.
get a pinch hit at some point. Sticking with the Marsh Stott inverse in the
Yes.
lineup, so Stott down at the 8 hole again, which is the right thing to do. So Rob's being flexible with that, and that's good to see because you know, outside of the trade deadline, one of the best things that could happen for the Phillies is Bryson Stott becoming Bryson Stott again.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I mean, I'm all for right now. You need to get more offensive production, obviously, out of guys like Bryson Stott. Nick Castellanos has been hitting well. You want to get more out of Brandon Marsh. So tinker a little bit, switch things up, see what you can get, and hopefully today is the day. I mean, this team has been struggling out of the All-Star break the last 2 series. We've been waiting. I feel okay about this series, and I feel like this is going to be a change. I really am feeling confident.
Yeah.
You know, this is the change that they need to like reset.
Well, trades bring sparks.
It does.
And energy.
And a new, like, I was going to say a new energy. Exactly. Took the words out of my mouth.
So, you know, I think Austin Hayes being there tonight might inspire some guys, and Ben Lively might inspire some guys to tee off on him a little bit. So we talked about the Austin Hayes trade earlier, kind of out of order there on our little Chiron. Let's get into our predictions for tonight. Renee, I am, and by the way, for the record, I'm excited to watch a full game of Jose Ramirez. I only I'll be honest, I don't get to watch many Guardians games.
Yeah.
I catch my snippets and my highlights, but to see 3 full games of him, looking forward to it because he's one of the game's, best players.
Oh yeah.
Prediction.
So your boy's not playing today.
Who's that?
Jose Ramirez.
I thought he was.
I'm just messing with you.
I was like, wait, I looked at their lineup.
I just wanted to see your reaction.
I was like, oh shit.
He's hitting
I was like, did I not read it?
No, I just wanted to see your reaction.
Coming in with the jokes.
Yeah, got him.
He's going to have trivia later for the watch along. He's got jokes in the pregame show.
And plus these Billy Murphy's burgers are making me very hungry.
They are smelling really good.
Yeah. So I am going to go with the Phillies win tonight. I think because of that energy and that spark, they get it done. I think they get to Ben Lively a little bit back home. I'm going to go Phillies 6, Guardians 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very close game. So the Guardians, as they come off of your favorite, a nice 4-game series, and of course it was a coward series. It was split 2-2. They just got shut out yesterday against the Tigers 3-0. I don't know. I feel like for both these teams coming off of losses, who wants it more? I'm going to go with the Phillies. In my opinion, not just to be biased, I do think, as you talk about Lively's numbers, the 3.57 ERA and 17 starts, the numbers he's seen, numbers against when teams have runners in scoring position, that is something that the Phillies actually have been struggling with as of late. I think today is the day they actually get going in bringing guys home, not leaving guys stranded. So I'm going to go with a nice, I don't want to, what'd you say, 6-4?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's hard, Renee, because baseball, there's only so.
I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm gonna say 7-2 Phillies.
All right,
I'm gonna say a nice offensive day. Cristopher Sanchez is gonna be solid. They're gonna give up 2 late runs. I think Sanchez leaves the mound, maybe giving up just 1 run. But
who's this Sanchez fellow you talk about?
Cristopher Sanchez, our buddy Sanchez.
All right, Tyler, what do you got?
So the Guardians we've talked about a little bit over the last couple of weeks. The Guardians have been kind of skidding a little bit since the All-Star break and even prior to the All-Star break. Just quick rundown for you. Shutout against the Tigers back on July 8th. 1 run against the Tigers on the 11th. They were shut out against the Rays on the 12th. Shut out against the Rays again on the 14th. Shut out against the Padres on the 20th. They scored 1 the following night against the Padres on the 21st, 2 against the Tigers on the 22nd. They won a game 2-1 against the Tigers on the 24th, and they were blanked against the Tigers yesterday. This team is really struggling offensively over the last 2 weeks or so.
Wow.
Cristopher Sanchez has been much better at home than he has been on the road.
Yes, he has.
I think this is going to be a low-scoring game today, I will take the Phillies in this one. I'll say 4-3.
All right.
I know in the chat, Barbara is agreeing with me 7-2, actually. Yes, we're on the exact same wavelength. And Spiderlout's also mentioning how the Guardians don't have any offensive team stats in the top 10. I think this is the Phillies' chance. They've been a little constipated offensively.
There you go. Phillies by 30.
Yeah, they've been a little, the best term is constipated. I think they're ready for that breakthrough, and I think today is going to be the day that their offense
I feel a little bit of offense coming too.
Yeah, a plethora of runs.
Our friends Phillies Tailgate on Twitter just pointed this fact out, completely making a 90-degree right turn. The Orioles now have Zach Eflin, Cole Irvin, Craig Kimbrell, Sir Anthony Dominguez, and Christian Pache. Is this going to open one of these weird pipelines of Phillies Orioles trades? I know some of that's diverted.
We'll talk more about that in our watch along show.
So we have a ton of nonsense to bring you over the course of this game, and of course post-game show after that. All brought to us by our friends at Miller Lite, who helped us get Billy Murphy's from East Falls in the studio. We're going to dive into these burgers and ribs, no doubt about it. Watch the game along with you. Have some Miller Lites. Have some fun. So hang out with us if you can. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Go Phils, and we'll see you shortly.
We all silly like the mayor.